Friends, take some coins, put it in the pushka, and we're not giving up. We will merit the imminent redemption. The more faith, the more bitachon, the more trust, the quicker it's going to happen. So, talking about Mashiach, talking about redemption, we'll have the Beis HaMikdash. We'll have the Beis HaMikdash. We'll have the Aron Kodesh, obviously. Not like in the second Beis HaMikdash that we didn't have it, as we discussed yesterday, but we will have it. But let's explore a little bit more of some interesting facts. What happened to the Aron Kodesh from day one on? The Aron Kodesh was actually built together with the whole Mishkan when the Jews were in the desert. It was in the year of 2449 after creation, when the Jewish people were in the Midbar, having come out of Egypt, received the Torah. They were told to build a Mishkan. They built a Mishkan, and among the things they had to do was the Aron Kodesh. And as we said, inside the Aron Kodesh were the broken tablets and the second set of tablets. What happened to it further? So they had some very interesting journey. Didn't have an easy life, so to say. So throughout the 40 years in the desert, obviously it traveled with them. But then, when after the 40 years in the desert they entered Eretz Yisrael with Yeshua built a Mishkan in Gilgal, where it remained for 14 years, and the Aron Kodesh was there with it. After those 40 years, they moved to Shiloh. Shiloh stayed for quite a long time, 369 years. Unfortunately, it was then destroyed by the Pelishtim, and with the destruction of the Mishkan Shiloh, the Aron Kodesh was taken into captivity, and it was lost for quite some number of years. Quite some years. Only later, in the year 2928, which is 828 years before the Common Era, when the first Beis HaMikdash was built, the Aron Kodesh was eventually brought to David HaMelech, and then it remained in the temple that his son Shlomo built. The Gemara in Yuma, as we mentioned yesterday, says that in the second temple we didn't have the Aron Kodesh. So where did it go? What happened? So here is a few facts what the Talmud relates. Again, Talmud Yuma, page 53, says, and I mentioned it yesterday, that Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, they are of the opinion that they went into exile in Bavel, and from there, don't know what happened to it. Another opinion is given, and this is based on the saying in Divrei Hayamim that the king Yoshiyahu hid it in what we have spoken yesterday in the caves that King Shlomo built, and it was put over there. Now, the Gemara though says that Yeshua hid it, King Yoshiyahu hid it. Rab Nachman says that it was hidden in a chamber of wood, and Rabbi Yehuda says in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. And as we just said, the Rambam explains what he means in the Kodesh HaKadoshim in this cave that was built by Shlomo HaMelech. But here's a question. If it's there, why aren't we looking for it? Why aren't we excavating? Why aren't we going to find it? In all those years, nobody was interested in going to look for it. So my friends, many people were interested. In fact, the Radvaz, who lived in the year 1500, he was the chief rabbi in Egypt in those years, Reb David ben Shlomo ibn Zimra, Radvaz, very important figure in Jewish law, and he relates that Muslims were trying to find it. But every time, and they had a tradition that underneath the rock, which is called today the Rock Adom, there's a tunnel, and they went in there. Anyone who went in there never made it out. And therefore they realized they stopped going there. And in fact, it was blocked. The tunnel was blocked and never to be able to open it. There was a Rav in Eretz Yisrael, the Rav of the Kotel, was called Rabbi Yehuda Gatz. And between the years 1968 till 1995, he was the official chief rabbi of the Kotel. And he was determined to find it. He got first permission from the Israeli government to do the excavation, but he wrote a letter to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe strongly discouraged him, to the point even saying, "You're jeopardizing your life." He did insist, though. And then what's interesting, what happened when he started digging, suddenly it leaked to the news and it became a world uproar, and the government stopped him from doing it. So it's there, and we're waiting for it to come out with Mashiach. And may this happen today.